Hello, my name is Araceli Perez Davis, and I'm here to tell you the story of the Perez family and the San Jose de la Mulada Ranch, which was established on December 26, 1787, in what is now Texas. And this is my story. Coronel José de Escandón was born in Soto La Marina in Spain. He carved his name in history as a colonizer of Nuevo Santander. Nuevo Santander is present-day Tamaulipas and is present-day South Texas. Coronel Escandón had made an exploration trip to recognize the land because Spain was hoping to colonize this vast void in her empire to discourage French settlement and possible English encroachment. Mexico spent several years studying the plan for the colonization of this region, and in 1746, plans were approved and Colonia Nuevo Santander became a reality. Coronel Escandón was selected as their leader. Blas María de la Garza Falcón. He was captain of the Presidio of Cerralbo and the son of General Blas de la Garza Falcón, governor of Coahuila. He played a very important role in the exploration, colonization, and settlement of towns along the Rio Grande. In 1747, Coronel Escandón chose Captain Blas de la Garza Falcón to explore the south bank of the Rio Grande. Escandón's plan, as implemented by Blas María, was to establish 7 settlements along the river. Blas María led 40 families from Nuevo León, Querétaro, and Coahuila to settle at Camargo on the banks of the Rio Grande. On March 5, 1749, the first Via del Norte was founded along the banks of the Rio Grande River. It was La Via de Nuestra Señora de Santa Ana de Camargo. Coronel Escandón named Blas María captain and chief justice of the new town of Camargo. Coronel Escandón founded other settlements along the river. They were Reynosa in 1749, Dolores 1750, Revilla 1750, Mier 1752, and Laredo in 1755. In the first census of Camargo taken on May 31st, 1750, the new families who had arrived in Camargo are listed on that census. One of those families was the family of Joseph José Pedro Pérez, who arrived with his wife Clara María de la Garza Falcón and their 9 children. The Pérezes were originally from Cadereyta, Nuevo León, a town 20 miles west of Monterrey. Joseph and Clara María were married on April 26, 1729. He was the son of Miguel Pérez de León and Beatriz Rodríguez Montemayor. Joseph José's family had established roots in Cadereyta, Nuevo León. 3 of the Miguel Pérez de León brothers were military officers. They were General Alonso Pérez, Captain Antonio Pérez, and Captain Lorenzo Pérez. The other 4 members of his family were girls. In 1752, Captain Blas María de la Garza Falcón established a ranch, Carnestolendas, now the site of Rio Grande City. By 1753, after 4 years after the colonization of the first Via, the new settlers, with the permission of Captain Blas María de la Garza Falcón, started moving north of the Rio Grande into what is now Texas to start their ranching operations, since the pasture lands were attractive and their principal occupation was stock raising. These new settlers had been offered free land, a cash bonus for purchasing supplies, and exemption from taxes for 10 years. In 1767, the King of Spain started granting Spanish land grants. The land grants were thin, long strips of land with a narrow front on the Rio Grande River, allowing the grantees to have water rights. The land grants stretched up to 20 miles north. Porción 74 stretched from the banks of the Rio Grande 10 miles north. Porción 74 was originally granted to Pedro Lugo in 1767 by the King of Spain. Lugo was a soldier and a primitive poblador. The porción consisted of 6,740 acres and is located in Stark County. On December 26, 1787, 20 years after it was granted to Lugo, Pedro José Pérez, my great-grandfather, 4 times removed, purchased Porción 74 and started his ranching operation. He married María Manuela de la Garza Falcón on January 8, 1769, in Camargo, Mexico. They had 8 children. They were Apolinaria, Petra, Rosa, José María, Gregoria, José Francisco, Santiago, and Juan José. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848 recognized the porciones as land rightfully granted by the King of Spain to his subjects and their heirs. While some families lost their lands in the aftermath of the Mexican-American War, many held on to their inheritance, which at times extended to both the Mexican and American side. Santiago Pérez, the son of Pedro José Pérez, applied and testified before a commission in Camargo, Mexico, on behalf of his deceased father, Pedro José Pérez, and heirs, that Porción 74 belonged to his father. The document was approved, witnessed, signed, dated, and confirmed by the legislature on February the 10th, 1852. Porción 74 was divided among the 7 heirs of Pedro José Pérez, each receiving 972.67 acres. An original tax receipt in my possession, dates June the 3rd, 1856, shows that Manuel Pérez, the grandson of Pedro José Pérez, was paying taxes on Porción 74 for the year 1853. Manuel Pérez was my great-great-grandfather. Nemesio Pérez was born in Camargo, Mexico, on November the 19th, 1840. He was the son of Manuel Pérez González and Gabriela Álvarez. Nemesio married Marta Álvarez on October the 30th, 1862. They had 4 children. They were Timotea, Juan Diego, Casimiro, and Susana. Nemesio's wife died in 1878, leaving Nemesio to raise 4 children. Susana, his youngest daughter, also died at the age of 3. Nemesio commuted between Los Pérez Ranch and La Mulada Ranch. Both ranches are situated on Porción 74. The Pérezes had long been in the ranching business before it was Texas. The first recording is in 1848, when Manuel Pérez, Nemesio's father, recorded his cattle brand. Porción 74 extended 10 miles north of, which is now FM 3167, starting on the banks of the Rio Grande River. The ranch and the area has been referred to as La Mulada for years. Mules were bred and raised and shipped to other states by railway. By 1860, Texas was exporting mules in considerable numbers and was listed as the first state in the U.S. in the number of mules raised. Besides cattle, horses, sheep, and goats were also raised at their ranch. On or about 1870, the ranch was named Rancho San José de la Mulada by Nemesio Pérez. This information was obtained from letters, notes, and contracts written between Nemesio and family members. Those notes are in my possession. In a census taken at Rancho La Mulada on September 26, 1870, the ranch had 31 inhabitants. There were 5 dwellings, 27 white men, 4 white women, and children under 5 years old. They worked as herders and servants. Cattle brands decorate the ceiling of the museum room, and Nemesio's brothers, Ponciano, Pablo, Juan, and Florencio, were also ranchers at other Los Pérez ranches. One was Rancho Los Pérez, which is also on Porción 74 and on the banks of the Rio Grande. There are original ranch artifacts framed and hanging on a wall. Arrowheads, furniture, a safe, documents, census, pictures, all belonging to the Perez family. Ranch ledgers were kept at the ranch by Nemesio and Casimiro. They would record business transactions, list the names of the employees, their salaries, and their duties. In an entry in a La Mulada ledger in 1896, Casimiro Perez writes that total heads of sheep at the ranch were 2,329. In another entry, 1,440 sheep were herded from the ranch through La Atravesada de la Gonzaleña, and at that 212 sheep had died on the way. In a statement dated March 23, 1893, Nemesio Perez purchases 75 heads of novillos from Deodoro Guerra and Brothers at El South Ranch. In a Corpus Christi Caller Times on July 7, 1899, news reached here that Casimiro Perez and Uncle Crispin Perez, after leaving Alice and with merchandise in their wagon, were attacked by 4 bandits. Crispin was relieved of his $80, and Casimiro got away with $880. Casimiro reached his destination and notified the authorities. 1 bandit was jailed. In an inventory of property in 1907, Nemesio owned 1,144 acres at La Mulada, plus 944 goats, 104 heads of cattle, 5 horses, 1 mare, 2 mules, and a house described as Lot 4, Block 17, which is present-day 205 North Corpus in Rio Grande City. He purchased lots 4 and 5 on July 11, 1876. Nemesio passed away on May the 9th, 1908. His sons, Casimiro and Juan Diego, helped manage the ranch after the father's death. After Juan Diego's and Casimiro's death, the Perezes had a ranch hand who took care of the ranch. By 1963, Josefa and Toraldo Perez, my parents, had cattle at La Mulada Ranch. In 1968, my mother, Josefa Hinojosa Perez, who was also a Perez, purchased acreage from the majority of the Perez heirs. Having come from a ranching family herself, she started a ranching operation with registered cattle. She fenced her property, cleared the land, and planted grass for the cattle. My father and brothers helped her rebuild an adobe house that had been built in 1894 by Juan Diego, Casimiro's brother. That adobe house was used by my dad, brothers, and myself as a hunting cabin for about 46 years. My mother was in the cattle business until she passed away in 2013. Rancho San Jose de la Mulada was on exhibit at the LBJ Library and Museum in Austin from October the 12th, 1997 through October 1998. Other ranches on exhibit were the McAllen Ranch, the Santa Monica Ranch. The Santa Monica Ranch was purchased in 1882 by Sergeant Jose Lino Hinojosa, a Civil War soldier from Rio Grande City. Sergeant Hinojosa was my maternal great-great-grandfather. There were other historic ranches on exhibit. The title of the exhibit was Los Tejanos, sus huellas en la tierra. It addressed several important themes like who were the Mexican Texans, how did they shape Texas, the families and ranches of the Rio Grande Valley played prominently in this exhibit, which chronicled almost 300 years of Tejano influence. Another exhibit displayed several times at the Museum of South Texas History in Edinburgh, Texas, is the Lawman of the Rio Grande. Casimiro Perez Alvarez was my grandfather. He was born at Los Perez Ranch in 1869, 2 miles west of Rio Grande City. Casimiro attended the Ateneo Fuentes College in Saltillo, Mexico. and American schools. The exhibit depicts his life as a businessman, newspaper, publisher, a rancher, an educator who operated his own school, a politician, and about his career as a deputy U.S. Marshal on horseback starting in 1902 in Edinburgh, Laredo, Bronzeville, and Rio Grande City. Casimiro received 2 presidential appointments as postmaster in Rio Grande City, the first in 1929 from President Calvin Coolidge, and the other from President Herbert Hoover in 1932. On July the 14th, 2014, I applied for a historical marker with the Texas Historical Commission. It took 2.5 years for the process, but I was always optimistic that with all the documentation and the research I had done on the ranch and the Pettis family, that it would be approved. I turned in the narrative on December the 1st, 2016, and it was approved. On April the 1st, 2017, the unveiling of the historical marker took place. It was a memorable event. 150 people attended. San Jose de la Mulada Ranch is a ranch that has been owned by the same original Pettis family since 1787. On December 26, 2017, the ranch will celebrate its 230th anniversary. Along with the ranch, the Pettises have long been in Texas during the transformation of the state from El Seno Mexicano to Nuevo Santander to Carnestolendas to Rancho Davis and present Rio Grande City, which was established in 1848. I hope you have enjoyed my South Texas history, and if you are interested, you can email me at iadavis2001@yahoo.com. And thank you.